In the vast, uncharted expanses of the Milky Way, humanity's message resounded like a shot fired in the depths of space, its echoes stirring ancient dust and drawing the attention of countless civilizations. It was a message born of desperation and defiance, a clarion call that pierced through the Galactic Council's veil of indifference and deceit. Run, it said, simple, stark, and laden with implications that would ripple across star systems for generations to come. The Galactic Council, an assembly of the most powerful species in the galaxy, had long viewed humanity as a nascent, inconsequential race. Earth, with its rich biodiversity and resilient inhabitants, was considered a mere curiosity in the Council's grand scheme of things, a scheme that had recently taken a dark turn against the humans. It began with the discovery of the Helix Nebula artifact, an ancient relic predating the Council itself. Its discovery by a human expedition had promised to usher in a new era of technological advancements and interstellar cooperation. Instead, it became the focal point of a cosmic deceit. The Council, fearing the potential of humanity to disrupt the established order, decided to act. They fabricated a narrative of the artifact being a harbinger of doom, claiming it would unleash a cataclysmic force upon the galaxy if not handed over for safekeeping. The reality, however, was far more sinister. The artifact contained knowledge and technology that could elevate humanity beyond the Council's control, potentially challenging their hegemony. Feeling cornered and betrayed, the United Earth government made a decision that would forever alter the course of human history. In a closed session, broadcasted to the Council under the guise of a diplomatic plea, Earth's representatives unveiled the truth. They had decrypted the artifact's secrets, learning not only of the Council's treachery, but also of ancient warnings about the Council's manipulative ways. The broadcast was a masterpiece of human ingenuity and resolve. It showed evidence of the Council's deceit, unveiled the potential of the artifact to benefit all civilizations, and extended an olive branch to those who would stand with humanity against the Council's tyranny. But it was the closing statement that sent shockwaves through the Galactic Assembly. To those who would threaten us, to those who would lie and manipulate for their gain, know this: we are not alone. We have allies among you, those who value truth and freedom. We are prepared to defend ourselves and share the bounty of this discovery with those who wish for a just and equitable galaxy. To the rest we say, run. The message ended with a coordinated display of human military might and technological prowess, a demonstration that humanity was not as defenseless as the Council had presumed. Fleets mobilized, shields activated around Earth and its colonies, and a network of deep space sensors came online, showcasing Earth's readiness to engage in a conflict if pushed. The ultimatum set the galaxy ablaze with rumors, speculation, and for some, hope. There were those within the Council and beyond who had long chafed under its yoke, who saw in humanity's bold stance a beacon of resistance. Alliances formed in secret, and plans were drawn in the shadows, as the Galactic Council convened in emergency sessions to address this unprecedented challenge to their authority. Humanity had drawn a line in the cosmic sand, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the galactic saga. A chapter where Earth would either emerge as a beacon of freedom and innovation, or be extinguished in the struggle for its right to exist among the stars. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of countless other races under the Council's sway. As fleets maneuvered and diplomats parleyed, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see who would blink first in this high-stakes game of cosmic brinkmanship. The aftermath of humanity's defiant broadcast was a galaxy teetering on the brink of upheaval. While the Galactic Council scrambled to contain the fallout, portraying the humans as reckless agitators endangering the cosmic order, a different narrative unfolded in the shadowy corners of the galaxy. Here, where the Council's reach was less absolute, the seeds of rebellion and solidarity began to sprout, watered by the bold words of Earth's emissaries. In the dimly lit chambers of the Tarkin Assembly, a coalition of mid-tier civilizations situated along the outer rim, the broadcast was received not with alarm, but with a cautious optimism. The Tarkans, long resentful of the Council's domineering policies and economic stranglehold, saw in humanity's stance a catalyst for change. secret meetings were convened, where envoys from Earth shared detailed data extracted from the Helix Nebula artifact, offering a glimpse into technologies and philosophies long suppressed by the Council. Meanwhile, on the mining colonies of the Zenthray Belt, a region rich in rare minerals but plagued by exploitation and poverty, the message inspired a different kind of mobilization. The Zenthray miners, comprising dozens of species forced into labor by the Council's corporate allies, began to organize. Covert communications networks lit up with plans for strikes and sabotage missions, aimed at weakening the Council's economic base and showing solidarity with the human cause. Back on Earth and its colonies, preparations for the coming storm intensified. The revelation of the Council's deceit had united humanity as never before, erasing old rivalries and igniting a collective resolve to stand firm. The United Earth Defense Force, a newly established military alliance comprising forces from every nation, began conducting joint exercises, while scientists and engineers worked feverishly to integrate Helix Nebula technologies into their arsenal. Amidst these preparations, a secretive delegation from the Kryn Sovereignty, a member of the Galactic Council known for their advanced psychic abilities, arrived on Earth. In a historic meeting, veiled in utmost secrecy, they offered an alliance. The Kryn, having foreseen the potential for galactic conflict, chose to side with humanity, sharing their insights into the Council's vulnerabilities and strategies. This unexpected alliance brought new hope to the Earth's defenders, providing them with critical intelligence and advanced psychic technologies. As Earth forged new alliances, the Galactic Council faced its own divisions. The human broadcast had not only exposed their deceit, but it also highlighted the Council's inability to control the narrative. Several member species began to question the wisdom of the Council's leadership, leading to heated debates and calls for reform from within. The once monolithic Council found itself fraying at the edges as its members grappled with the choice between supporting the continued suppression of humanity or advocating for dialogue and compromise. In the shadows of the galaxy, a network of resistance and mutual support continued to grow, weaving a tapestry of alliances that spanned the cold expanse of space. Smugglers and pirates, long seen as outlaws, became vital conduits for communication and supplies between Earth and its newfound allies. Each illicit cargo run, each shared piece of intelligence, and each covert operation served to undermine the Council's authority and strengthen the resolve of those standing with humanity. As the galaxy edged closer to open conflict, the lines between friend and foe, oppressor and liberator, began to blur. Humanity's call to arms had awakened a long-dormant desire for freedom among the galaxy's oppressed, uniting a diverse coalition of civilizations in a common cause. The stage was set for a confrontation that would not only determine the fate of humanity, but also shape the future of the galaxy. The Galactic Council, once the unchallenged rulers of the stars, now faced a rebellion that threatened to unravel the very fabric of their empire. As the galaxy braced for the unfolding conflict, Earth became a beacon of hope and defiance. The alliances formed in the shadow of the Galactic Council's treachery had solidified into a formidable coalition, ready to challenge the age-old hegemony that had dictated the cosmic order. This chapter in humanity's saga was marked by a flurry of diplomatic maneuverings, technological advancements, and covert operations, all aimed at weakening the Council's grip on the galaxy. The first major breakthrough came from the depths of the Kryn Sovereignty's psychic research facilities, shared with human scientists in a gesture of unprecedented cooperation. Together, they developed a communication system immune to the Council's surveillance, leveraging psychic technologies to transmit messages directly between minds across vast distances. This psychic communication network, PCN, enabled the Allies to coordinate their efforts with a level of secrecy and speed previously unimaginable.
I traveled back in time, Gabriel. I will cherish you this time around. I don't know.
Simultaneously, on the frontiers of human space, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to incorporate the advanced technologies derived from the Helix Nebula artifact into their defenses. Starships equipped with faster-than-light drives capable of eluding Council blockades began patrolling the borders of human-occupied space, while ground forces received upgrades in armor and weaponry, tipping the balance of power in favor of Earth's defenders. The Council, aware of the growing threat but still underestimating the resolve of humanity and its allies, launched a series of clandestine operations to sow discord within the coalition. Agents infiltrated mining colonies in the Zenthray belt and attempted to sabotage the psychic communication network. However, their efforts were thwarted by the vigilance of the coalition's intelligence network, which had been significantly bolstered by the contributions of the Kryn and the ingenuity of human operatives. The turning point came when a council fleet, dispatched to enforce a blockade around a key human colony, found itself ambushed by a combined force of human and Kryn ships. The battle, though brief, demonstrated the effectiveness of the new technologies and the strength of the coalition's resolve. News of the Council's defeat spread quickly, igniting uprisings on multiple planets and inspiring more civilizations to question their allegiance to the Council. In the heart of the Galactic Council's space, a secretive group of high-ranking officials and military leaders began to doubt the wisdom of continuing their aggressive stance against humanity. This faction, known as the Reformists, argued for a diplomatic solution, fearing that a prolonged conflict would only lead to the Council's downfall. Their pleas for peace, however, fell on deaf ears among the hardliners, who viewed any concession as a sign of weakness. Amidst these tensions, Earth's diplomats extended an offer for peace talks, proposing a neutral ground where grievances could be aired and a peaceful resolution sought. This gesture of diplomacy was met with skepticism by many within the Council, but the prospect of a drawn-out conflict with an uncertain outcome began to sway some members to consider negotiation. As preparations for the peace talks began, a covert operation unlike any other was launched from the shadows. A team of elite operatives from across the coalition embarked on a mission to infiltrate a top-secret council facility, aiming to uncover evidence of further deceit that could be used as leverage in the negotiations. This daring raid, deep into enemy territory, risked sparking open war, but was deemed necessary to ensure that the talks would not merely serve as a stalling tactic by the Council. The galaxy stood at a crossroads, with the outcome of the peace talks holding the potential to either mend the fractured cosmic order or plunge the galaxy into a conflict of unprecedented scale. Humanity and its allies had shown that they were not only capable of standing up to the Council's tyranny, but also willing to extend the olive branch of peace. The question that remained was whether the Council, faced with the undeniable reality of a changing galaxy, would grasp that branch or break. The proposed peace talks, set against the backdrop of a galaxy on the edge of war, represented a glimmer of hope in the shadow of looming conflict. Earth and its allies, having demonstrated their capability and resolve, now sought to navigate the treacherous waters of diplomacy. As delegations from across the galaxy converged on Neutralis, a planet chosen for its symbolic location at the crossroads of Council and Coalition territories, the eyes of countless civilizations watched, eager for signs of a peaceful resolution. Neutralis, with its serene landscapes and ancient neutral arbiter species, the Velari, offered a stark contrast to the tension that gripped the attending delegates. The planet, untouched by galactic strife, served as a reminder of what could be lost should diplomacy fail. The Velari, known for their wisdom and impartiality, facilitated the talks, urging all parties to seek common ground and reminding them of the devastating consequences of conflict. As the peace talks commenced, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Initial discussions were fraught with accusations and demands, reflecting the deep-seated mistrust between the Galactic Council and the human-led coalition. However, as the days progressed, a shift began to emerge. Reports of uprisings and dissent within Council territories, coupled with the undeniable effectiveness of the coalition's resistance, lent weight to the argument for compromise. Behind the scenes, the coalition's intelligence operatives worked tirelessly to secure an advantage. The daring raid on the Council's secret facility had yielded valuable data, revealing not only further plans for subversion, but also evidence of corruption within the Council's ranks. This information, strategically leaked to key Council members and the galactic media, sowed seeds of division among the Council's hardliners and bolstered the reformists' call for peace. Amidst the political maneuvering, a parallel narrative unfolded, one of shared struggles and common dreams. Delegates from worlds under the Council's yoke spoke of their aspirations for freedom and self-determination, echoing humanity's plea for a galaxy where all civilizations could coexist as equals. These personal testimonies, broadcast across the galaxy, galvanized public support for the talks and increased pressure on the Council to negotiate in good faith. However, the path to peace was fraught with obstacles. A faction within the Council, unwilling to concede any ground, plotted to derail the talks through a series of sabotage attempts on Neutralis. These efforts were thwarted by the combined vigilance of Coalition and Valari security forces, further undermining the hardliners' position and exposing the desperation of those opposed to peace. As the talks entered their final phase, a breakthrough was achieved. The Coalition presented a proposal for a new galactic framework, one that would ensure the equitable sharing of resources and technologies, protect the rights of all species, and establish a joint defense pact against external threats. After intense negotiations, a tentative agreement was reached, subject to ratification by the Council and the Coalition's governing bodies. The announcement of the agreement sent waves of relief and jubilation across the galaxy, tempered by the understanding that the path ahead would be challenging. The treaty required not only formal approval, but also the dismantling of long-standing prejudices and the integration of vastly different cultures and systems of governance. As delegations departed Neutralis, the galaxy stood at a pivotal moment. The peace talks had averted an immediate crisis, but the true test would be in the implementation of the agreement. The Coalition, led by humanity, had emerged as a new power on the galactic stage, advocating for a vision of unity and cooperation. However, the shadow of the Council's past actions loomed large, a reminder of the fragility of peace. With the tentative peace agreement reached on Neutralis, the galaxy embarked on a period of cautious optimism. The treaty, hailed as the Dawn Accord, represented not just a ceasefire, but a foundational shift towards a more inclusive and equitable galactic order. As news of the Accord spread, celebrations erupted on worlds across the galaxy, from bustling metropolises on Earth to remote outposts on the fringe of Council space. Yet beneath the surface of these jubilations, the architects of this new era were acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The Dawn Accord called for the establishment of a new galactic assembly, one that would include representatives from all civilizations, including those previously marginalized by the Council's policies. This body was tasked with overseeing the implementation of the treaty's provisions, including the redistribution of resources, the demilitarization of contested zones, and the integration of Helix Nebula technologies into society at large. In the weeks following the Accord, delegations worked tirelessly to lay the groundwork for the assembly. The selection of representatives proved to be a delicate task, requiring a balance between experienced diplomats and voices from grassroots movements that had risen in support of the Coalition. Earth, recognized for its leadership role in the Coalition, took on the responsibility of hosting the Assembly's inaugural session, a symbol of humanity's transition from galactic outlier to key player. As the Assembly convened, the galaxy watched with bated breath. The initial sessions were marked by a spirit of collaboration, as delegates shared visions for a united future. However, the specter of the Council's past actions loomed large, with many calling for accountability and reparations. The reformists, now holding significant sway within the former Council species, pushed for transparency and reconciliation, advocating for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to address grievances and foster healing. Meanwhile, the integration of advanced technologies into civilian life began to transform societies across the galaxy. Helix Nebula advancements in energy production, medicine, and transportation promised to usher in a new age of prosperity and connectivity. Yet these changes also brought challenges, as economies adapted to new paradigms and governments grappled with issues of access and equity. The formation of the Joint Defense Pact, a key provision of the Dawn Accord, marked a significant shift in galactic security dynamics. The pact, comprising fleets from Coalition and former Council members, was tasked with defending against external threats and maintaining peace within the Assembly's jurisdiction. The presence of human and Kryn officers serving side by side became a powerful symbol of the new galactic unity. Despite these advances, the path to a fully realized galactic community was fraught with setbacks. Incidents of sabotage and unrest persisted, driven by factions resistant to change. The Assembly faced its first major crisis when a dissident group launched a series of attacks on infrastructure projects, claiming they perpetuated old power imbalances. The swift response by the Joint Defense Pact, coupled with efforts to address the root causes of the dissent, highlighted the delicate balance between security and freedom that the new order sought to achieve. As the first year of the Dawn Accord drew to a close, the galaxy found itself in a state of transformation. The achievements were significant: peaceful coexistence, technological advancement, and steps towards justice and reconciliation. Yet, the journey was only beginning. The legacy of the Council's rule and the scars of past conflicts would take time to heal. Humanity, once viewed with skepticism and fear, now stood at the forefront of this galactic renaissance. Earth's leaders, scientists, and diplomats continued to play pivotal roles in guiding the Assembly, while grassroots movements from across the galaxy brought fresh perspectives and energy to the collective endeavor. The challenges ahead were daunting, but the promise of a new dawn, a galaxy where all beings could share in the light of stars, offered hope and motivation. As the galaxy moved forward, it did so with the understanding that unity was not a static achievement, but a continuous process of negotiation, compromise, and mutual respect. The Dawn Accord had set the stage for a future where diversity was not just tolerated, but celebrated, where conflicts were resolved through dialogue, and where every civilization could contribute to a tapestry of galactic culture, richer and more vibrant than ever before.
You've been making a name for yourself lately, huh? Nice.
The inaugural year of the Dawn Accord had been a testament to the galaxy's capacity for transformation. As the galaxy ventured into this era of newfound peace and cooperation, the second year post-Accord presented both opportunities and unforeseen challenges, leading humanity and its allies into uncharted territories of galactic diplomacy and exploration. One of the most ambitious initiatives undertaken was the Galactic Exploration Project, GEP, a joint venture aimed at exploring the uncharted regions of the galaxy. The project, conceived as a symbol of the Dawn Accord's commitment to shared discovery and cooperation, brought together scientists, explorers, and diplomats from across the Assembly. With humanity's advanced exploration vessels at the forefront, the GEP fleet set out to map the unknown, search for new habitable worlds, and establish first contact with isolated civilizations. The GEP's first major discovery was the Celestial Archive, an ancient space station orbiting a dying star at the edge of the galaxy. The archive, believed to be a repository of knowledge from a long-extinct civilization, offered unprecedented insight into the galaxy's history and the technological advancements of its former inhabitants. The decision to share the findings from the Celestial Archive with all Assembly members was met with overwhelming approval, reinforcing the principles of transparency and mutual benefit that underpinned the Dawn Accord. Back on the political front, the Assembly faced a new challenge in the form of the Isilan crisis. The Isilan system, located at a strategic juncture between former Council and Coalition territories, became a flashpoint when its inhabitants declared independence from their colonial rulers who were signatories of the Dawn Accord. The dispute threatened to unravel the fragile peace as both sides accused the other of violating the Accord's principles. The crisis prompted an unprecedented response from the Assembly, which voted to deploy a peacekeeping force to the Isilan system and mediate negotiations between the disputing parties. The mediation process, led by a team of Earth diplomats renowned for their role in the peace talks, eventually resulted in the Isilon Accord, granting the system conditional independence and establishing a framework for self-governance within the wider galactic community. The successful resolution of the Isilon crisis was hailed as a milestone in the Assembly's ability to address complex disputes through peaceful means. Meanwhile, the integration of Helix Nebula technologies continued to reshape everyday life across the galaxy. A new era of interstellar travel began with the inauguration of the Hyperlane Network, a series of accelerated travel corridors connecting major star systems. The network reduced travel times between distant worlds from years to days, facilitating unprecedented levels of trade, cultural exchange, and personal mobility.
I keep ending up back.
However, the rapid expansion also brought to light the need for regulatory frameworks to address issues of sovereignty, security, and environmental impact, sparking intense debates within the Assembly. As the galaxy navigated these developments, a deeper transformation was occurring in the fabric of galactic society. The Dawn Accord had not only altered the political landscape, but it also sown the seeds for a cultural renaissance. Art, music, and literature from diverse worlds found new audiences, fostering a sense of shared heritage and mutual appreciation among previously isolated or antagonistic species. The Galactic Cultural Festival, hosted on Earth, attracted millions of visitors from across the galaxy, becoming a symbol of the unity and diversity that the Dawn Accord sought to achieve. However, the path to a fully unified galaxy was not without its detractors. A shadowy faction, remnants of the Council's hardliner elements, emerged as the Vanguard of Purity, advocating for a return to species-centric governance and resisting the integration policies of the Assembly. Their activities, ranging from propaganda campaigns to sabotage, posed a persistent threat to the peace and stability of the new order. As the galaxy moved forward, it became clear that the journey toward unity was a complex mosaic of triumphs and trials, of shared dreams and divergent paths. The Dawn Accord had opened the door to a new era, but it was the collective will of the galaxy's inhabitants that would determine the course of its future. The challenges were significant, but so were the opportunities for growth, understanding, and exploration. The galaxy stood at the threshold of uncharted territories, with the light of the stars guiding its way. In the evolving tapestry of the galactic community, the third year after the Dawn Accord brought with it a confrontation with the past. As the galaxy moved forward, uncovering new worlds and forging new alliances, the shadows of ancient conflicts and long-forgotten histories began to surface, challenging the Assembly to reconcile with the echoes of the past. The discovery of the ruins of Valara, hidden on a previously uncharted planet at the fringes of the Hyperlane Network, became the focal point of this confrontation.
Gabriel, what are you doing here? Where's Brian?
With me.
What do I have to do to get you to divorce me? So touching. Abigail? Gabriel, she doesn't even like.
The ruins, remnants of a civilization that had vanished millennia before the Council's rise, held artifacts and inscriptions that hinted at a galaxy once rife with conflict and division, not unlike the challenges faced by the current galactic community. The exploration teams, comprising archaeologists and historians from diverse species, embarked on a meticulous study of the Valara relics, uncovering evidence of a great war that had reshaped the galaxy's political landscape in the distant past. The revelations from Valara sparked a galactic dialogue about history's cyclical nature and the importance of learning from past mistakes. The Assembly, recognizing the potential for these discoveries to inform present and future policies, established the Galactic Heritage Initiative. This initiative aimed to preserve historical sites across the galaxy and promote intercultural understanding through education and exchange programs. The initiative quickly gained popularity, becoming a beacon for species seeking to understand their place in the galaxy's vast history. Meanwhile, the shadows of more recent history also demanded attention. The Vanguard of Purity, exploiting sentiments of species nationalism and fear of the unknown, launched a series of attacks against the Hyperlane Network, aiming to disrupt the physical and symbolic connectivity it represented. These attacks, while largely unsuccessful due to the swift response of the Joint Defense Pact, highlighted the lingering divisions within the galactic community. In response to the growing threat posed by the Vanguard and similar factions, The Assembly convened an emergency session to address the rise of extremism. The session resulted in the formation of the United Galactic Task Force, UGTF, a specialized unit tasked with countering threats to galactic peace and security. The UGTF, with its diverse composition of species and expertise, embodied the spirit of cooperation that the Dawn Accord sought to promote, representing a collective commitment to defending the ideals of the new galactic order. As the Assembly worked to address these external challenges, internal debates emerged over the balance between unity and diversity within the galactic community. The GEP's ongoing exploration efforts had brought numerous isolated civilizations into contact with the wider galaxy, raising questions about integration and the preservation of cultural identities. The Assembly's Cultural Affairs Committee introduced the Cultural Sovereignty Guidelines, which aim to protect the rights of newly contacted species to maintain their cultural practices while facilitating their voluntary integration into the galactic community. The year also saw the establishment of the Interstellar Peace Memorial on Neutralis, commemorating the lives lost to conflicts across the galaxy and serving as a reminder of the price of peace. The memorial, featuring monuments contributed by different civilizations, became a pilgrimage site for those wishing to honor the past and envision a future of lasting peace. As the galaxy navigated the complexities of its collective history and the challenges of its present, the sense of unity that had emerged from the Dawn Accord was tested. Yet through each trial, the resilience of the galactic community shone through, proving that while the echoes of the past were a sobering reminder of what could be lost, they also offered lessons and hope for what could be gained. The journey toward a unified galaxy was proving to be as much about looking inward and backward as it was about reaching outward and forward. The fourth year after the signing of the Dawn Accord was marked by a series of crises that tested the resilience and unity of the galactic community to its core. Amidst the ongoing challenges of integration and the shadow of extremism, a catastrophic event would emerge, forcing the Assembly to confront its deepest fears and showcase its greatest strengths. The crisis began with the sudden and mysterious collapse of a major hyperlane junction, a critical node in the hyperlane network that facilitated travel across a vast swath of the galaxy. The collapse not only stranded millions of travelers and disrupted trade routes, but also emitted a wave of unknown energy that began to affect Starship navigation systems galaxy-wide. Panic spread as reports came in of ships being lost in the void, unable to navigate the now treacherous lanes of space. The Assembly, recognizing the gravity of the situation, mobilized its resources to address the crisis. The United Galactic Task Force, UGTF, was dispatched to secure the affected area and provide assistance to stranded vessels, while the Assembly's Science Council convened an emergency summit of the galaxy's brightest minds to investigate the cause of the collapse. The investigation revealed a shocking truth. The hyperlane collapse was not a natural occurrence, but the result of a sophisticated sabotage operation. Evidence pointed to the Vanguard of Purity, who had managed to infiltrate the hyperlane network's maintenance crews and plant a device designed to disrupt the network's core energy matrix. The revelation of this act of terror ignited outrage across the galaxy, uniting disparate civilizations in condemnation of the Vanguard and its extremist ideology. In the face of this crisis, the Assembly's response was swift and decisive. The Dawn Accord's principles of mutual aid and cooperation were put into action as fleets from member civilizations worked together to establish temporary navigation beacons, guiding stranded ships to safety. Scientists and engineers from across the Assembly pooled their knowledge to develop a solution to repair the damaged hyperlane junction and restore the network's integrity. This collective effort not only averted a potential galactic catastrophe, but also served as a powerful testament to the strength of the galactic community's bonds.
Here's the deal. We fail the mission, you die.
If we find out any information you give us is false,
You die.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
What? No.
we're all gonna die. I hope so.
The crisis had brought out the best in the Assembly's member civilizations, demonstrating their capacity for solidarity in the face of adversity. The resolution of the hyperlane crisis, however, was not the end of the year's trials. The Vanguard of Purity, emboldened by their initial success, launched a series of attacks on Assembly outposts, aiming to destabilize the Galactic Order. These attacks were met with a united front, as the UGTF, supported by local defense forces, mounted a counteroffensive to neutralize the Vanguard's threat. The heart of the storm came to a head in a decisive battle on the frontier world of Zentara, where the Vanguard had established a stronghold. The Battle of Zentara was fierce, pitting the UGTF and allied forces against the well-entrenched extremists. The conflict showcased the tactical ingenuity and bravery of the Assembly's forces, ultimately leading to the capture of the Vanguard's leadership and the liberation of Zentara. The aftermath of the battle saw the galaxy coming together to rebuild and to mourn the losses suffered. The Assembly, in recognition of the sacrifices made, declared a galaxy-wide day of remembrance, honoring the heroes of Zentara and all those who had stood in defense of the galactic community. The events of the year served as a sobering reminder of the threats facing the Assembly, but also as a powerful affirmation of its purpose and potential. The Dawn Accord, once a mere treaty, had evolved into a living testament to the possibility of unity and peace in a diverse galaxy. The heart of the storm had been weathered, and from it, the galactic community emerged stronger, more united, and more determined to forge a shared future. In the wake of the crises that had tested the fabric of the galactic community, the fifth year post-Dawn Accord was a time of reflection, rebuilding, and recommitment to the ideals that had brought the galaxy together. The Assembly, now recognized as a beacon of hope and a symbol of unity, sought to strengthen the bonds between its members and address the underlying issues that had fueled the recent turmoil. The year began with the first Galactic Peace Conference, hosted on the neutral world of Taloria, a planet renowned for its stunning natural beauty and commitment to peace. Delegates from across the galaxy gathered to discuss the future of the Assembly, strategies for preventing extremism, and plans for the further integration of remote and newly discovered civilizations into the galactic community. The conference was a testament to the spirit of cooperation that had emerged from the trials of the previous year, setting a tone of optimism and collective purpose. One of the key outcomes of the conference was the establishment of the Galactic Integration Fund, GIF, a financial mechanism designed to support the development of underrepresented and emerging civilizations. The GIF aimed to address economic disparities and foster social cohesion by investing in education, infrastructure, and technology sharing programs. This initiative marked a significant step towards addressing the root causes of conflict and ensuring that all members of the Assembly had a stake in the peace and prosperity of the galaxy. Meanwhile, the Assembly's Science Council launched the Sentinel program, an ambitious project to monitor and safeguard the hyperlane network against future threats. Utilizing advanced technologies shared by member civilizations, the Sentinel program deployed a series of observation stations along critical junctions of the network, equipped with early warning systems and defensive measures. This network of Sentinels served as a tangible demonstration of the Assembly's commitment to collective security and the free movement of peoples and goods across the galaxy. The year also saw the opening of the Intercultural Exchange Center on Earth, a hub for cultural, educational, and diplomatic activities. The center hosted exhibitions, forums, and workshops that celebrated the diversity of the galactic community, facilitating dialogue and understanding between species with vastly different histories, cultures, and perspectives. The Intercultural Exchange Center quickly became a popular destination for travelers from across the galaxy, embodying the spirit of curiosity and mutual respect that the Dawn Accord had inspired. Amid these initiatives, the Assembly faced ongoing challenges in its efforts to bring stability to regions still recovering from the legacy of the Council's rule and the recent crises. The situation in the Izalan system, where tensions between the central government and local factions threatened to erupt into conflict, required delicate diplomacy and the deployment of peacekeeping forces to ensure compliance with the Izalan Accord. These efforts underscored the complexities of building peace in a galaxy still marked by old wounds and deep-seated mistrust. Despite these challenges, the year was marked by a sense of progress and hope. The successful integration of several newly contacted civilizations into the Assembly, facilitated by the Cultural Sovereignty Guidelines and supported by the GIF, was hailed as a milestone in the galaxy's journey towards inclusivity and mutual respect. The stories of these civilizations, from their first contact with the wider galaxy to their contributions to the Assembly, were celebrated as symbols of the potential for unity amid diversity. As the year drew to a close, the galaxy stood at a crossroads. The weave of peace, painstakingly constructed over the past 5 years, had shown its resilience in the face of adversity, but remained a work in progress. The Assembly, more than an institution, had become a shared dream, a collective endeavor to build a galaxy where every civilization could thrive in harmony with others. As the galaxy entered the 6th year following the Dawn Accord, the Assembly faced the dual challenge of nurturing the fragile peace it had worked so hard to build, while also pushing the boundaries of exploration and understanding. The spirit of the Accord had ignited a renaissance of curiosity and ambition, leading to an era marked by unprecedented cooperation in the quest to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos and ensure the well-being of all its inhabitants. The year's most significant endeavor was the launch of the Horizon Initiative, a groundbreaking exploration project that aimed to venture beyond the known limits of the galaxy. The initiative represented the pinnacle of collaborative effort, combining the technological prowess and knowledge of multiple civilizations to construct the Horizon Voyager, a vessel equipped with experimental propulsion systems capable of reaching intergalactic space. As the Horizon Voyager prepared for its maiden voyage, the Assembly's focus also turned inward, addressing the sustainability of the peace and prosperity it had fostered. Recognizing that the long-term stability of the galactic community depended on the health of its constituent worlds, the Environmental Preservation Accord was ratified. This agreement, binding on all member civilizations, established strict guidelines for resource utilization and environmental protection, ensuring that the development of one world would not come at the expense of others. In a display of unity and shared responsibility, the Assembly organized the Galactic Restoration Corps, a volunteer force dedicated to environmental restoration and disaster relief. The Corps' first mission, the reclamation of the war-torn world of Eridos, became a symbol of what could be achieved when the galaxy worked together towards a common goal. The transformation of Eridos from a barren wasteland back to a thriving ecosystem served as a powerful testament to the possibilities of cooperation and technological advancement. Meanwhile, the establishment of the Galactic Cultural Heritage Sites by the Galactic Heritage Initiative sought to preserve and celebrate the rich tapestry of cultures within the Assembly. Worlds with sites designated as part of this initiative saw an influx of visitors, fostering a deeper appreciation for the diverse histories and traditions that comprised the galactic community. This initiative also provided an economic boost to less developed worlds, highlighting the benefits of cultural exchange and tourism. The year was not without its tensions, however. The remnants of the Vanguard of Purity, now scattered and marginalized, attempted to undermine the Assembly's efforts through a campaign of misinformation and isolated terrorist acts. These attempts were met with a unified response from the Assembly, which launched a counter-information campaign and tightened security measures across the Hyperlane network. The resilience of the galactic community in the face of these threats reinforced the strength of the bonds formed under the Dawn Accord. The highlight of the year came with the Horizon Voyager's successful voyage to the Andromeda Galaxy, a monumental achievement that marked the first intergalactic journey made by a crewed spacecraft. The data and experiences brought back by the Horizon Voyager's crew offered a glimpse into the vastness and diversity of the universe beyond the Milky Way, sparking a new wave of excitement and curiosity across the galaxy. As the year drew to a close, the light of the horizon, symbolized by the achievements of the Horizon Initiative and the ongoing efforts to sustain peace and prosperity, illuminated the path forward for the Assembly. The challenges that lay ahead were daunting, but the successes of the past year served as a reminder of what could be achieved when the galaxy stood united. In the 7th year following the Dawn Accord, the galaxy found itself at a crossroads, where the promise of unity and progress collided with the shadows of old ambitions and new challenges. as the Assembly celebrated the achievements of the Horizon Initiative and the ongoing efforts to preserve peace and prosperity. Ominous whispers of a resurgent threat began to stir in the darkest corners of the galaxy. The year began with the discovery of anomalous energy readings emanating from the heart of a remote star system on the fringes of the galactic frontier. Initial investigations revealed the presence of a previously unknown civilization, the Ascendancy, whose technological prowess and expansionist ambitions posed a potential threat to the fragile peace established under the Dawn Accord. The Ascendancy, hidden from galactic view for centuries, had emerged from isolation with a formidable fleet and a vision of galactic dominance. Their leaders, claiming a divine right to rule, rejected the principles of cooperation and mutual respect espoused by the Assembly, instead advocating for a return to the hierarchical order of the past.
Need you to take my boat out for a run.
You're okay, Pop. We're gonna show you what real fishermen can do. I got a $100,000 fine.
I got resources, and they want to do business.
You know what line you're crossing?
She set us up. Finest Kind, rated R, now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Sizes range from small to double extra large, with 7 different color combinations to choose from. It's the perfect gym gear you need. Download and shop on Temu this Christmas.
The sudden emergence of the Ascendancy sent shockwaves through the galactic community, prompting urgent deliberations within the Assembly on how best to respond to this new threat. As tensions escalated, the Assembly faced a critical decision: to confront the Ascendancy head-on, or to seek a diplomatic solution. The prospect of open conflict, with its potential for widespread destruction and loss of life, weighed heavily on the minds of Assembly members, many of whom had only recently emerged from the shadow of war. However, the Ascendancy's belligerent actions, including incursions into sovereign territories and provocative displays of military strength, left little room for negotiation. In response to the growing threat posed by the Ascendancy, the Assembly mobilized its forces, bolstering the Joint Defense Pact, and deploying peacekeeping fleets to strategic locations along the galactic frontier. The United Galactic Task Force, UGTF, was placed on high alert, tasked with monitoring Ascendancy movements and coordinating defensive measures with member civilizations. The Assembly's Science Council also redoubled its efforts to develop advanced technologies capable of countering the Ascendancy's superior weaponry and shielding. Amidst preparations for the looming conflict, diplomatic efforts were made to reach out to neutral civilizations and potential allies who might lend their support to the Assembly's cause. Envoys were dispatched to distant worlds, carrying messages of solidarity and shared purpose as the galaxy braced itself for the coming storm. As the year progressed, skirmishes erupted along the borders of Ascendancy-controlled space, testing the resolve and capabilities of both sides. The Assembly's forces, buoyed by the spirit of unity and cooperation that had defined their collective endeavor, held their ground against the Ascendancy's relentless onslaught, determined to defend the principles of peace, freedom, and equality that the Dawn Accord represented. Yet, as the shadows of Ascendancy loomed ever larger, casting doubt and uncertainty over the galaxy's future, the Assembly knew that the true test of their resolve was yet to come. The echoes of ancient conflicts reverberated through the cosmos, reminding all who would listen that the struggle for a better future was never truly won, but a continuous journey fraught with peril and possibility. As the conflict with the Ascendancy escalated, the galaxy found itself teetering on the brink of darkness, caught in the grip of uncertainty and fear. The 7th year post-Dawn Accord became a time of reckoning, as the Assembly faced its greatest challenge yet, a struggle for survival against a foe bent on domination and conquest. The early stages of the conflict saw fierce battles erupting along the frontiers of Ascendancy-controlled space. As the Assembly's forces clashed with the relentless advance of the Ascendant Armada, planets fell, civilizations trembled, and the very fabric of galactic society was threatened with unraveling. The Assembly's defenses strained under the weight of the onslaught, and despair spread like wildfire among those who had once dared to hope for a brighter future. In the face of overwhelming odds, the Assembly rallied its forces, drawing strength from the bonds forged in the crucible of adversity. The Joint Defense Pact, reinforced by volunteers from member civilizations and allied species, stood as a bulwark against the Ascendancy's relentless advance. The United Galactic Task Force, UGTF, now fully mobilized, waged a guerrilla war against Ascendancy supply lines and communications networks, disrupting their ability to sustain their war machine. Yet, even as the Assembly fought to stem the tide of darkness, dissent simmered within its ranks. Some member civilizations, weary of the prolonged conflict and fearful of the Ascendancy's might, advocated for peace at any cost, urging the Assembly to seek a negotiated settlement with the Ascendancy. Others, hardened by the trials of war and fueled by righteous indignation, called for a total mobilization of resources and a relentless offensive against the Ascendancy's strongholds. Amidst the turmoil and uncertainty, a glimmer of hope emerged. Intelligence reports indicated fractures within the Ascendancy's leadership, as rival factions vied for control of the Empire's destiny. The Assembly seized upon this opportunity, launching covert operations to exploit these divisions and sow discord within the Ascendancy's ranks. Diplomatic overtures were made to dissident factions, offering amnesty and support in exchange for defection from the Ascendancy's cause. As the conflict entered its most decisive phase, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The Assembly, standing on the precipice of annihilation, knew that victory could only be achieved through unity, determination, and sacrifice. With the light of hope flickering in the encroaching darkness, the galaxy prepared to make its final stand against the forces of Ascendancy, knowing that the outcome of this conflict would shape the destiny of civilizations for generations to come. In the twilight's end, as the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, the galaxy braced for the final confrontation, the ultimate test of its resolve, its courage, and its unwavering commitment to the ideals of peace, freedom, and justice. The end of Chapter 12 marked the beginning of the galaxy's darkest hour, where the fate of countless worlds would be decided amidst the chaos and carnage of war. In the darkest hour of the galactic conflict, when hope seemed but a distant memory and despair threatened to engulf the stars themselves, a glimmer of light emerged on the horizon. The seventh-year post-dawn accord bore witness to a series of pivotal events that would ultimately tip the scales in favor of the Assembly, marking the beginning of the end of the Ascendancy's reign of terror. The turning point came with the revelation of a secret cache of ancient artifacts hidden deep within the heart of Ascendancy territory. These artifacts, imbued with untold power and wisdom, held the key to unlocking the Ascendancy's greatest secrets and weaknesses. The Assembly's intelligence operatives, acting on a tip from a defector within the Ascendancy's ranks, launched a daring raid to recover these artifacts, risking everything in the hope of turning the tide of war. The successful retrieval of the artifacts marked a significant victory for the Assembly, providing invaluable intelligence and technological advancements that would prove crucial in the battles to come. The artifacts revealed weaknesses in the Ascendancy's shields and defenses, allowing the Assembly's forces to exploit vulnerabilities and mount targeted offensives against key strategic targets. Emboldened by this newfound advantage, the Assembly launched a series of coordinated offensives across multiple fronts, striking deep into Ascendancy territory and liberating worlds long held under the yoke of oppression. The tide of the war began to turn, as the Ascendancy's forces found themselves on the defensive for the first time since the conflict began. Yet, even as victory seemed within reach, the Assembly faced its greatest challenge yet: the final assault on the Ascendancy's capital world, where the Empire's leaders had fortified themselves behind layers of impenetrable defenses. The battle for Ascendancy Prime would be a test of courage, resolve, and sacrifice, as the Assembly's forces prepared to confront the heart of darkness itself. As the Assembly's fleets massed for the final assault, a sense of anticipation and trepidation gripped the galaxy. The fate of civilizations hung in the balance, as the outcome of the battle would determine whether the galaxy would remain under the shadow of tyranny or emerge into a new era of freedom and unity. The battle for Ascendancy Prime raged for days, as the Assembly's forces clashed with the Ascendancy's elite defenders in a desperate struggle for control of the capital city. The streets ran red with the blood of the fallen, as brave soldiers from countless worlds fought side by side against the forces of Ascendancy, determined to secure victory at any cost. In the end, it was not superior firepower or technological prowess that decided the outcome of the battle, but the indomitable spirit of the galactic community itself. United in purpose and driven by a shared vision of a better future, the Assembly's forces breached the Ascendancy's defenses and stormed the capital city, breaking the Empire's grip on power and paving the way for a new era of peace and prosperity. As the sun rose over Ascendancy Prime, casting its light upon a galaxy forever changed by the trials of war, the dawn of victory heralded a new beginning, a chance to rebuild, to heal, and to forge a future where the echoes of conflict were but distant memories, and the bonds of unity shone brightly across the stars. With the defeat of the Ascendancy and the dawn of a new era, the galaxy embarked on a journey of rebirth and renewal. The 8th year post-Dawn Accord became a time of healing, reconstruction, and reconciliation, as the scars of war began to fade, and the promise of a brighter future beckoned. The aftermath of the conflict saw the Assembly's forces working tirelessly to restore order and stability to the war-torn regions of the galaxy. Humanitarian aid poured in from member civilizations and allied species, providing relief to those who had suffered the most during the dark days of the war. Rebuilding efforts were launched on devastated worlds, as communities came together to repair the damage wrought by years of conflict and destruction. One of the most significant initiatives undertaken in the aftermath of the war was the establishment of the Galactic Reconciliation Commission. This commission, composed of representatives from diverse backgrounds and species, was tasked with fostering healing and understanding among former enemies, promoting dialogue and reconciliation, and ensuring that the mistakes of the past were not repeated in the future. Through truth-telling, reparations, and grassroots reconciliation efforts, the Commission sought to build bridges between civilizations and lay the foundation for a more peaceful and inclusive galaxy. Meanwhile, the Assembly turned its attention to the long-term challenges facing the galactic community, chief among them the need to address the root causes of conflict and inequality. The Galactic Integration Fund, GF, was expanded to support ongoing development projects and economic revitalization efforts in marginalized regions, ensuring that all member civilizations had access to the resources and opportunities needed to thrive. The Environmental Preservation Accord was strengthened, with new measures implemented to protect endangered ecosystems and promote sustainable development practices. The year also saw a renewed focus on scientific exploration and discovery, as the Assembly launched the Horizon Initiative 2.0, a bold new phase of exploration aimed at unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos and expanding the boundaries of knowledge. The Horizon Voyager, now equipped with state-of-the-art technology and crewed by a diverse team of scientists and explorers, embarked on a series of ambitious missions to explore distant galaxies, study exotic phenomena, and search for signs of extraterrestrial life. Amidst these efforts, the galaxy celebrated the achievements of the past year and looked forward to a future filled with hope and possibility. The Assembly's annual Gala of Unity, held on the neutral world of Teloria, brought together leaders, diplomats, and citizens from across the galaxy to celebrate the triumph of cooperation over conflict and to reaffirm their commitment to building a better tomorrow. As the year drew to a close, the galaxy stood on the brink of a new dawn, a dawn of peace, progress, and prosperity for all its inhabitants. The lessons learned from the trials of war had forged a stronger, more resilient galactic community, united in its determination to forge a future where the ideals of the Dawn Accord, unity, cooperation, and mutual respect, were not just aspirations, but lived realities. As the 9th year post-Dawn Accord unfolded, the galaxy stood at the zenith of its potential, basking in the glow of a hard-won peace and the promise of a future shaped by unity, cooperation, and shared purpose. The legacy of the Dawn Accord, forged in the crucible of conflict and forged through the bonds of friendship and solidarity, had become a beacon of hope for civilizations across the stars. The year began with a celebration unlike any before, the Decennial Jubilee, marking the 10th anniversary of the signing of the Dawn Accord. Leaders, diplomats, and citizens from every corner of the galaxy gathered